So are you out or are you in? Dance, 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 gonna dance, dance, dance in the kitchen. Dance, 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 baby. You don't know what you're missing.
There were a couple other tips that I wanted to share just in terms of like getting started with solids that generally some doctors will recommend like as early as 4 months, but generally it's 6 months, and especially for baby-led weaning that you generally don't start with like foods that the baby can hold prior to 6 months. But there's signs of readiness, so your baby should be able to push up from laying on their tummy with straight arms. They should be able to sit unsupported. They should be able to bring things to their mouth. They should have good head and neck control. So there's certain signs of readiness that you want to kind of read up on and just make sure they're actually ready. Check with your pediatrician. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is like the frequency of how frequently you feed your baby when you first get started with this.
Yeah, because as we've said before, food before 1 is just for fun.
Yeah, so when you start your baby on solids or on purees, as we both did around 6 months, you don't have to like start doing breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks a day, right?
No.
No, the primary food should still be breast milk or formula. And what I did is I just started with 1 meal a day, and I think this can be really customized to whatever works for people's schedule and whatever's easy and convenient for them. I honestly don't even remember which meal I started with or if I was particularly intentional about it. I know that I would like get up in the morning and nurse, and then when I phased in breakfast, I just give them, you know, a little bit of egg or something like that at breakfast time. And also because it's messy, you're probably not gonna wanna do it like more than you have to.
Right, or first thing in the morning. That's
Yeah.
like, 'cause there's enough chaos going on. I believe we did it at lunch, so I think her first meal was around lunchtime, and then eventually we, like around 9 months, we brought in dinner as well.
Yeah, so you can start with like 1 meal a day, and again, it's a very small amount of food. It's mainly just to kind of play and touch and taste. And then, you know, as things start to progress, you can phase in another meal. I mean, maybe you're doing lunch and dinner, like you said.
Right.
And, you know, the primary nutrition, as we mentioned, needs to come from that breast milk or formula. And once my kids hit about age 1, then I actually switched it to where I would often give him breakfast first, and then we would nurse. So as he was getting older, I was starting to have him rely on getting more of his nutrition from his meals versus like, we're gonna fill up on breast milk first and then have like a little bit of food.
Gosh, I feel like I have that, like, the pregnancy brain of like, I don't really even remember everything, like all those details. Like, you know how like they say you're supposed to forget so that you'll have more children?
I've heard that one, but you know what else I heard that actually made me feel a lot better? Is that it's really hard to form and retain memories when you're sleep deprived.
Yes,
So
there
that
you
whole
go.
first year of sleep deprivation, no wonder you don't remember the first
Oh
year
my
of your baby's
God.
life.
I'm gonna just say, nothing will prepare you for the sleep deprivation that you are going to go through in that first year, especially even 2 years of having
Even
a child.
like 5 or 6 years.
Oh.
I've been told, and I believe it's true, you'll never sleep the same again.
No.
Because then they're like teenagers and you're worried that they're out late, and you know. I'm not probably going to be able to sleep well when I know my kid is out there somewhere and there's drunk drivers and
No.
yeah. So
No.
Ashley's anxiety creeping into the scenario again.
But maybe you remember a little bit better because you have 2. So you have one that's you have 5 and 3, right?
Right.
So you kind of a little bit closer to that, you know. I mean, mine is at 6 now, so it's like it's been a while since I, you know, did
Yeah.
this phase.
Well, I feel like with the second one, it was like kind of more of a blur. And he got introduced to things a little earlier than his brother did because his brother was introduced to them already. So like for my first son, I never gave him a cookie. I never gave him anything sweet until he was probably almost 3 and like went to preschool and started being around other kids and occasionally getting exposed to that stuff. And I'm not a mom who's going to restrict me like, you could never have a cookie. I just didn't see the point in introducing them to him before he needed to know about them. Like, he's going to be asking me for it, so.
I think we had a few parties before 3, so we got introduced to that early. Also, we did the smash cake because as a photographer,
That's true.
we had to do the first year smash cake.
That's true. He did have a cupcake at 1 year. I remember that. But also pandemic. So my older son was 18 months old when the pandemic hit. And your daughter was probably close to that age as well.
Yeah,
like,
actually,
a smidge older.
we had to cancel her second birthday. I remember my husband was like, "We're gonna have to cancel this party." I'm like, "We're not canceling this party." And then it was very clear that the party was getting canceled because her birthday is in March. So, yeah, her birthday, she was probably the first Zoom birthday party I went to was hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure my son got exposed to like a couple things here and there prior to the pandemic, but not much. And we certainly just didn't have it at home. And then we had like, a couple years where we weren't really exposed to anybody. So then he didn't really get it again until he started going to this outdoor preschool. And even then there wasn't a lot. So, but then with my younger son, my older son is like, "May I have a treat?" And my younger son is like, "Treat, you say?"
Treat.
Yeah, so he has known about treats a little bit earlier than his brother did.
But I have to say, I don't know about your kids. My daughter, really truly believe because I started her on this savory diet that she eats a good balanced whole foods diet. She will eat sweets, but she doesn't always finish them. She just wants it's more of like the thrill of it, and more than like let me just devour this thing and then ask for more.
Right, and I don't want to be restrictive with my kids because I want to be mindful about letting them, one, learn about how things affect their bodies, two, feel like they have that sense of control, they're not being like overly controlled. And so like for Halloween, I'm very careful about what kinds of candy I let them eat because I worry about choking hazards. But this last Halloween, I let them both just go to town on their Halloween buckets. They ate some candy. They never asked for it again, like after that night, and I ended up just throwing the rest out after a week or so.
Well, you're lucky. Mine has hers. She didn't eat that much candy, but she has it all categorized and separated into different bags, and she's got it all itemized from the last two Halloweens. So I am having a hard time throwing it out because she knows exactly what is there. There's a full inventory of her Halloween candy from the last 2 years.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how different every kid's personality is too.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm curious what family meals look like for you guys, because the research really shows that when families eat together at least one meal a day, that really promotes like connectedness and bonding. It helps kids be more resilient and just healthier overall in their lives. So I know in my family we're intentional about that. We sit down for dinner together pretty much every night. I usually eat lunch with my kids. I eat breakfast with them every morning. And I know some people, when they're starting their kids on solids, like they might feed their baby at a different time than they eat just for convenience. And, whatever works for you and your family is fine. But the research also does show that it is important to like share that community and those meals with your kids at least, on a regular basis, because that helps with just kids' development overall and them turning out better.
I didn't know that information, but it's good to know. I just personally just love sharing meals. I think it's just something, a part of life, a part of everybody's development, and a part of like fulfilling our souls of like sitting down, having a meal together. So my daughter and I, probably in her beginning years, ate all of our meals together. Now that she's in school, we don't really have lunch together. And sometimes, even in the summertime with her nanny, she has lunch on her own, but we always eat breakfast together and we always have dinner together. Now, Dad doesn't always sit down for breakfast because he does not sit down in the morning.
Neither does my kid's dad.
But he does cook us breakfast and serve it to us, so we are all together for that, and he makes her lunch. And then, but we always sit down for a meal together. Sometimes he tries to get out of it, but as long as I cook a home-cooked meal or we go out, he will sit down with us and eat that meal.
Yeah, I love that. My husband doesn't always want to eat the same thing that me and the kids are eating, but he will sit with us. And then we also have a gratitude practice that we do at dinner time where we just talk about what everybody's grateful for in their day.
I love that.
It's really cute because my little guy, he'll be like, "I'm grateful for," and he gets it and he'll list a whole bunch of things, and it's just really adorable to hear 3-year-old gratitude.
That's so cute. We only do that for Thanksgiving.
Aww. Yeah, so it's not just about the food and the nourishment in terms of the nutrition. It also is about community, and it is about relationship building, and even the social skills and manners and all the things that really go into food, because it's not just the eating of the food. There's a whole...
Yeah, it brings us together.
Yeah.
My daughter and I sometimes will make cookies and stuff, and we always put on music, but one of my favorite favorites to put on is the music from Encanto, because it's all about family. So I'll put that on and we'll bake something together, and it just kind of just brings in that extra family vibe, you know, that family
love that.
bonding.
Yeah, and we have Auntie Liz over pretty much every year on Christmas, and we do like cookie baking with the kids, and that's a tradition that we've had the last few years that's really special. Well, is there anything else you want to share in terms of starting solids and kind of your experience and tips and tricks and etc.?
Let me see. I feel like I've said everything, but just to give it a recap. So I breastfed my daughter. We actually had some issues with breastfeeding, but
As did we.
But honestly, like looking back on it, I feel like a lot of it was in my head. And I just want to say too, like, I think we're gonna do an episode on breastfeeding, but anybody who's out there who's like having issues with breastfeeding, just know like your baby's stomach in the beginning is like this big. It's like the size of like a peanut, and it eventually grows at 1 month up to the size of an olive. So if you're not pumping out a full bottle of milk, that's okay. Like I remember the first day that she came home, I thought I was having milk issues. She was having latch issues was what the issue was. It wasn't the milk. But my husband ran out to the pump station, got us a pump, and I literally pumped for 20 minutes and I got a drop. Like it just barely filled the nipple, but that was just enough to satiate her, and like she went to sleep. But then, so fast forward to what we're talking about right now. I started her on the green vegetables. Her first was peas, so it was mashed peas. She made a huge mess. It was super cute. I took a ton of photos. And then again, we went to the yellow vegetables, potatoes, and then on to fruit at 9 months. And then, gosh, I can't even remember when we really started all the solids and like meat and all that, but I think it was at 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a fun journey. And, you know, the last thing I kind of want to throw out there is just that whatever works for you and your family and your baby, like everybody's an individual, everybody has their own path. I feel like there's so much mom shaming and just judgment and stuff that flies around out there of like breast is best and it's like fed is best. And if you can't afford organic food or you don't have time to make your own baby food or any of those things, like, you know, I just want to give compassion to like new motherhood is really hard.
Yeah.
In terms of mental health, suicide is actually the leading cause of death in moms in the first year postpartum. It's so sad. And I just think it's so important. Like I'm tearing up now, but it's so important for moms to support each other. And I'm grateful to have mom friends like you.
So we actually met in the moms group, in the Silver Lake Moms group. That's how we met.
Yeah, and for me, that experience, like having that community to start new motherhood, I don't think I would have had nearly as much fun being a mom if I had been alone and isolated and not sure what to do and nobody to call. So go easy on yourself. You don't have to do this perfectly. There is no perfect. Just have fun with your baby and take pictures of the cute messiness.
And find another mom who's at the same developmental age as you are. Because that's important.
Yeah, and there's resources out there. There's moms groups if you Google, and then there's like WIC and these programs that are set up to support moms so that they can get healthy food for their babies.
Right. Lots of Facebook groups, although sometimes they can shame you.
Yeah, you gotta watch out too for that.
Be careful.
But yeah, find the moms that get it and that are giving you unconditional love, and band up with your sisters, because that's the way to get through.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, please comment, like, subscribe.
And buy us a coffee. We're not breastfeeding anymore. We're not, oh, you're pregnant. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna be.
She can't have the coffee. She can have a little bit of coffee.
I have a little bit of coffee.
Well, anyways, buy us a coffee because it supports the show, keeps us going, and helps us to create great content for you. And we also have some merch, and the links are below.
Yep. We'll see you next time here on
Dancing in the Kitchen.
Get up, get up.